As if there hasn't been enough talk about tax lately in Canberra, we're about to go through another tax review. This time it'll look at how the federal government carves up GST revenue among the states, an issue that puts the government in the crossfire between the so-called weak and strong states. Political correspondent Tom Eagleton reports.
The Prime Minister's in Perth, her visit hosted by a Premier who's not her #1 fan. Amongst Colin Barnett's complaints that WA gives more to the government in GST than it gets back, while less cashed up states give less and get more.
I think this has been a fundamental issue to the finances of Western Australia.
The Prime Minister's been persuaded.
Current arrangements, in my view, are not satisfactory. We've got a state like Western Australia and the current arrangements not properly dealing with high economic growth here.
She's announced a panel made up of 2 former premiers and a prominent South Australian business advisor to review the Commonwealth Grants Commission formula for distributing the GST amongst the states. They'll report late next year, but the Prime Minister's already clear about why she thinks the current system is broken.
A state can be lagging behind, not driving reform, not driving its system efficiently, and not feel the full consequences of that lack of reform drive and inefficiency.
And there's the rub. If some states get to keep more of their GST, struggling states will get less. But the Prime Minister's not worried.
I am content that this process is starting off in an atmosphere of cooperation.
If so, it'll defy a history of bickering between the state and federal governments that goes back virtually to federation.
I take the view that New South Wales has been cheated out of several $100 million, which we were clearly entitled to.
The one place not to be in this system is between a Premier and a bucket of money.
And this time around, the claims are already rolling in. In Tasmania, the Premier, Lara Giddings, says she won't accept any change to the system that results in her state getting less money. But over Bass Strait in Victoria, the Premier there says the system's already robbed his state of hundreds of millions of dollars.
The Commonwealth is now acknowledging the system is flawed, but they've already used that flawed system to take $2.5 billion away from Victoria. That's unacceptable. The money should be restored, and I would urge every Victorian to write to the Prime Minister and demand that that money be restored. They can't have it both ways.
Western Australia gets about 68% of its GST revenue back from the federal government. Colin Barnett wants more.
When the other states, the big states of New South Wales, Victoria and Queensland, all get back in excess of 90 cents in the dollar, I believe Western Australia has been very generous, very fair to say we simply want a minimum that we get at least 75 cents back.
There will be other reform proposals put forward, I'm sure, but Premier Barnett has specifically said to me he wants that reform proposal considered, and it will be.
Let the games begin. Tom Eagleton, Lateline.